Should we do new releases? I think we should do new releases.
If you think so, then I think
It's
so.
the next thing on this list, so it would make sense.
You're playing one of these, Chibi.
Which one?
The Ghosts of Tsushima.
Radical
Tsushima.
Rabbit Stew?
No.
Tsushima.
No. Ghost of Taka Porsche?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
the one. Takapusha.
Yes, we've been playing Ghost of Tsushima at the Chibi household. Mrs. Chibi is a big fan. We've been playing it every night since it came out. Much to the diminishment of our television watching. This is all we really do before bedtime. Mrs. Chibi loves it. She's super into it. She's really impressed. She was really surprised to learn that it was developed by a Western development team and not Japanese people, because I guess the details in it are like they really must have dug deep to get all this stuff and to get it to look a certain way. And she was also very impressed by the voice acting, the Japanese voice acting at least. And apparently she follows Japanese Twitter, and she was saying that they basically all feel the same way. Everybody seems the Japanese people seem very impressed by that Whitey was able to pull off Ghost of Tsushima. And so am I, quite frankly. It is really fun, but if you're not expecting Assassin's Creed Samurai, then you might be disappointed.
What else would you want?
I don't know. I saw a lot of people, when I posted some screenshots of the game that I was playing, that I took, because it's got a great photo mode, and I'm constantly doing that shit. People were tweeting at me saying, "Oh, this game's a really big disappointment. It could, this game could take place at anywhere, anytime." I mean, yeah, I guess you could reskin the game and make it pirates, but you could do that with really like any game, any genre.
Ooh, Ghosts of Barbados. I'd play that.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But they've done a really good job, I feel, for this game, at least with the Japanese stuff. The music
How's
is great.
the combat?
The combat's really fun and smooth. It's, if you've played a modern action game in the last few years, you'll be familiar with it right away.
Well, I that's what I'm asking. Like, is it? I mean, obviously it's all swords. I'm assuming just swords.
You got bows. You got some bows, and you got some, some smoke bombs and whatnot of things like that. Knives. No machine guns. I'm sorry.
No machine guns.
No guns.
Any iconic pickaxes?
No. It's, you play dress up. Wombat.
Okay.
There is dress up.
Wombat's in.
It's really.
I would get it if I'm just cheap. That and I had to pay for this thing to get done. I had to pay to bleed all over myself.
The visuals are unbelievable. It's it's just it's just really artistic. It's not just the graphics, it's the art design of the game that makes it really stand out. It's just super colorful. And I know people are playing in the black and white mode and loving that too. But once the colors like just explode off the screen, I can see us playing in black and white just to check it out for a little bit, but same thing with the English voices. I could see checking out the English voices for a little bit, but it just seems so much more authentic when you play with the Japanese voices, even though it doesn't lip sync properly. But it didn't bother me at all because I'm reading the subtitles. You can't look at their faces when they're talking.
I would skip all that anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
Okay, and you know what? It's not super story heavy. It's not, I never get to the point where I'm like, XXXXX or circle, whatever the fuck it is. We're really having a fun time with Ghost of Tsushima, and I'd recommend it for sure. Unless I don't know what people are expecting. They're expecting like Way of the Samurai, something like Dark Souls, more hardcore, because there's a complaint that it's too easy. I don't know.
I remember Way of the Samurai. That was a good game.
I feel like they tried to make this game a little more ambitious. Like the game, like you're obviously a samurai in it, and as you.
Whoa! Wait a minute.
I know.
You never told me that.
But one of the main story arcs of the game or story beats of the game, is that you're a samurai, and samurai has a code, and that code is not assassinating people. It's not sneaking up behind them and cutting their throats, or shooting them with a bow and arrow from 100 feet away. It's fighting them. It's saying, "Hey, I'm here. I'm a samurai. Let's fight." And then you fight everybody, and that's it. That's the only thing you're really allowed to do. But this game incorporates basically a lot of ninja things, like throwing knives at people, smoke bombs, actual bombs, jumping off of roofs and assassinating people, like ninja stuff. I feel like
so what's better, samurais or ninjas? I think that's a real question.
And I think that's what they were trying to do when the original concept of the game might have been was like, hey, you start off as a samurai, let's give the player an option to become a ninja or retain his honor as a samurai. But they probably discovered that wasn't as fun as just like, hey, let's just give you all these abilities, like throwing knives at people's faces.
Yeah, but ninjas dress better than samurai.
They could have thrown that in, I feel. Like maybe that was the original idea.
Care to weigh in? Who dresses better, ninjas or samurai?
I don't really have a strong opinion on that. I think they both dress fine.
Budo, Snake Eyes.
Okay, you pulled out the Budo. It's a good pull.
Thank you. Come on.
Well, Snake Eyes is part commando as well.
That's true. Budo, Storm Shadow.
Okay. Right. We talking first gen Storm Shadow? Or...
Yes, we're talking first gen.
Lewis on Fire writes, and he wants to know if we talked about not being able to lock on. So this is a third-person action game. There's no target lock in the game. You have to move the camera manually at all times, and that seems to be one of the big complaints from people who have complaints about the game. You will get into a fight and be blocked off by a wall and just be like, oh shit, and now you're fighting with the camera. It happens a lot. But at the same time, it gives you the freedom to really create. To
yell at the camera?
To yell at the camera and also create something that also not only is functional, but looks good. Like, I feel I play this game always trying to make it look pretty. Like, I try to put the camera in a position that makes the game look pretty for Mrs. Cheapy. Not so much what's the best strategically. I don't know. So it is a valid complaint, though. I could see people it would be nice to have that option. I don't know why it's not at least in the game that you could turn off, but it's not.
Part of the samurai code.
Right.
No lock on.
The game code is samurai code. Not a lot of people know that.
But it's really cool. I wish you guys would check it out so we could talk about it more.
I've been playing the other big release.
What?
Paper Mario, the Origami King.
Oh, nice. Yeah, look at that. I was expecting you to say something dumb, but you didn't.
No, I didn't. I didn't for once.
I know. I'm like so disappointed.
Well, I bet you would hate this game.
Really?
You would have so much dialogue to skip.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So much dialogue to skip. Particularly early on, it's a little bit talky.
Is there actual voice acting or is it?
No, this is a Nintendo game.
Right.
This is
just
Nintendo.
I don't get it, guys. I just do not. I don't get it.
No, it's.
I mean, I get it, but bubbles. I don't get it.
And then what? Timed button presses, like the last couple of.
So that's there is that, but the combat's kind of neat this time around. First of all, the writing, what's there's a lot of it, but it's actually very cute. A lot of puns and dad jokes and plays about them being paper, that type of stuff. The combat is turn-based, button press time. Like when you hop on a Goomba's head, you want to hit A at the right time to get extra damage.
They've been using that mechanic forever. I played one Paper Mario game and I remember that.
But they screwed it up in some of them. This one, they did
what
not
do you mean?
screw
The
this
timing was wrong?
No, they just they had that whole sticker system. It was a mess.
Okay.
But this one adds another layer to that. Like everything, at least so far what I've played, everything is laid out in a circular battlefield where Mario's right in the middle and then enemies are placed on the sides. And it's a ring. So there's 4 rings. And at the beginning of the battle, the Goombas or whatever are placed. And then the rings spin around or the Goombas can move between the rings. And it's all sectioned off like in pizza slices. So before the battle starts, you can adjust the rings, spin the rings to move the characters back into groups that make sense for your attack abilities. Like if you use your boots to jump, you're going to do a lineup of you could do 4 hops in a row if you have 4 Goombas that are in a line. Or if
I feel like wasn't this in the old game too? It sounds familiar.
No.
Okay, not that part. The last part, the 4 in a line hopping thing. I don't know.
That could, that could be, but it didn't have this whole mechanic of moving around the enemies before you do attacks.
Right.
So it adds it so that it's a little bit more involved than just the standard, I'm going to select this attack and then time up my button presses. Not much. It doesn't add a whole lot more, but it adds a little something to it.
Are you actually playing this game? Are you gonna finish this, or are you just gonna go?
Yeah,
back to
no,
Animal Crossing?
I like it. It looks really nice, and I like if Paper Mario is done well. I like it. I enjoy the whimsy of it.
Right.
Somebody's asking if it would be too difficult for a 5-year-old. If your 5-year-old can read, it would be fine for a 5-year-old. If your child cannot read, then they're going to be very confused about what's going on in this game.
What are all these symbols on the screen constantly flowing through the screen? Just push X.
Right. Well, I mean, the problem is it's going to give you hints. Like, if you don't read the hints, you could get lost in these games, right? Because you're not going to go explore everything.
Right.
So.
Right. Oh, by the way, remember when you were making fun of the wind mechanic in Ghosts or Ghost? It's actually pretty cool. If I could just say that, I do like watching the wind blow.
Great.
To lead me to my destination.
I'm glad you came around on that.
I've come a full 180 on that. It is cool. It's cool. Everything. I don't know. It's very stylistic. That game does a great job. All right. What else in new releases?
I think the rest of these new releases are from last week, actually.
Okay. We talked about Super Hot.
Yeah, this seems like the same release list we had last week.
Yeah, I don't think this is the actual new one.
Oh, what
that's
the hell?
Okay. Yeah.
Did I not do it? I thought I
don't think you did it.
No, you did. You did the one from last week, but we didn't have one last week.
Oof.
So we were a week behind. We really should have 2 lists, but you screwed that up. So good job.
Right.
But, yeah.
At least they got the microphones working when we started.
I think we talked about the 2 biggest games that are out.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
know. It's fine. It's not really a big deal because the only other game that came out that's coming out this week, you and I have both played already, and we'll get to that later.
All right.